So it's a cold and rainy fall day in Muncie, Indiana. I'm just walking around downtown for the first time since I've been back, and a lot is still the same, but a lot I don't even recognize. And you know, with all the COVID regulations and rules and stuff, like there's a lot of things you can't go into, like the libraries and stuff are still closed. Thankfully, like the Cornerstone for the Arts is open with, you know, a lot of regulations or you know, just like having to wear a mask when you go into the building, and if you don't have business, like, you know, if you're not a student or a teacher or a parent, like, actually I don't even know if they're letting parents in, to be all the way honest, but you know, so a community building for the arts that normally would actually encourage anyone and everyone to come in and be a part of it is, you know, closing their doors. But I guess that still the blessing of it is that the children and the scholars are still being able to utilize the services and still get the education for, you know, their dreams and aspirations in life. But I guess in certain aspects, life still goes on. We got road closes and people working and the things going on. I think I'm actually going to take a detour. Oh. Yeah, I wanted to go this way to show you where I got my acting start at. I mean, if you don't count like elementary school or, you know, drama club in school, the very first time I ever was on stage was at Muncie Civic Theater. It's right up here around the corner. And, you know, I mean, I still have high hopes and dreams that one day I will be remembered as James Newell the actor, or Ricky Ricardo. Which is kind of funny I chose that name, considering one of the other famous people who got their start at Muncie Civic Theater is Vivian Vance, who was Lucy's best friend on The Lucy Show. So her very first experience in the theatrical arts was on the same stage as my very first experience in the theatrical arts. And right here, as we turn the corner, you will see the marquee. Muncie Civic Theater has a digital marquee. Cool, but I just wasn't expecting it. The last time I saw it, you actually had to go like and put the letters up yourself and take them down whenever the show closed and a new show was coming along. But yes, this is the theater. Oh, it's so funny. They're doing the show that I started my acting career with. Which, no, it's Willy Wonka. So maybe it's more closely scripted to the movie? I don't know. But I was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which, you know, obviously the same story. But that was my very first show back in 1993. And here they are doing the show again this year, 2020. And that is hilarious to me, considering when I left my house today, I really didn't think I was going to walk by here or do this segment for you lovely people. Nor did I realize that the show I started with was actually a show that was a part of the season. So it's funny how the universe works. Thank you, Jesus. There's First Merchants. which has been First Merchant since I can remember. Like I said, a lot is still the same. And even if the businesses aren't the same, the buildings are. Like the farm stand, that was just getting started when I was last a resident here in Muncie, Indiana. The corner of Mulberry and Main Street. Good old MITS bus system. Which, you know, for the size of the community and population of the city, MITS really, I mean, it's one of the best transit systems in the country. Now, I know that doesn't say a whole hell of a lot when you think about, you know, New York having 8 million people in it, or, well, even Orlando having like 300,000 people in it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a different experience all the way around, but, you know, when you scale it down for the actual service that it provides, MITS like ranks really high. So it's kind of cool, you know. It's funny, like I said this in the last episode as well, but when you are from Indiana, Muncie, or, you know, just like smaller communities, or, you know, in the flyover states, you know, you don't really think that it's all that great when you're here, you know, as a kid or a young adult. You're like, this place sucks, you know, if I could just get to New York, if I could just get to Orlando, if I could just get to Los Angeles, like my whole life will change. And then you go and you live that experience, and you realize how blessed you really were in the smaller community. Hometown values, hometown and even in the hometown, we still have our sirens. Just goes to show there's drama everywhere. People live and die no matter where you live at. But no, I mean, it's cool to like have the hometown like feel, the, you know, like the old time clock, the what are these? The pillar of Delaware County Veterans Memorial. So, and it's like, yes, bigger cities and stuff have those, but they're not as appreciated because they're just there, you know what I mean? Like, if you're actually a New Yorker, I mean, how often do you probably go to the Veterans Memorial? I wouldn't throw in World Trade Center because I'm sure a lot of New Yorkers actually go to the World Trade Center Memorial a lot because, you know, there's a lot of people who lost someone that day. But like stuff like this, you know what I mean? Like, people just take it for granted. And when you're in a smaller town, you know, Middletown America, which Muncie, Indiana is, you appreciate that stuff. And probably as a teenager, I did not. But now, after traveling the country and seeing the United States with my own eyes, that stuff like that, it's really cool, and I really appreciate it in a whole nother light than what I would have 20 years ago. Now this right here is something really different. When I was here, this was the DCCC, which was Delaware County Community Corrections, and all of this was wall. Well, the front I think was windows, but like that was all walls and concrete. And this was like, you know, probation officers and, you know, like people like who had community service and stuff. Now it's a gutted building that they're doing something else with. And I don't see any signs saying future home of, so I don't know what they're doing unless it's Accutech Systems. possibly, or maybe it was Accutech Systems after it was DCCC, and I just missed that era. But so yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, I haven't seen that. Now this has always been Pizzell's. That is something I definitely remember walking in front of and across when as a child. One of those things, you know, certain like hometown staples that just thankfully never go anywhere. 50 to 100 years later, it's still here. Now here's one that's been around for a while, but it wasn't, I mean, I can remember when it wasn't here, but it's been here since I was in high school. And it's called Wishbone. You know, back when I was a child, I used to buy my papers and pipes and stuff there. Well, I guess we all saw in season 3 that those childhood days are not completely behind me. But, you know, eating it's different than smoking it. And for anyone who knows David Letterman from The Tonight Show, The Late Show, if you know anything about him, you will know that he is a graduate of Ball State University, which is in Muncie, Indiana. And Muncie, Indiana is very proud to have had him as a resident for 4 years. And they actually named this alley Dave's Alley after David Letterman. So this has been Dave's Alley for 25 years. It's, I mean, there's nothing special about it, but it's named after David Letterman. Okay, now this is intriguing. It's used to be docks. Like, if you are my age or older, this is docks to you. But apparently now it's Valhalla. But pretty much the same setup. Except, you know, back in the day you could smoke inside. Now this is kind of cool because this is still the same. The Harat. And hopefully it's actually still open. But the Harat actually has 100 beers on tap. And if you would like, you can join the challenge. And it's a 6-month challenge. And if you try every single beer within 6 months, they will put a plaque with your name on it and put it on the bar. I actually tried it one time and I got about, I don't know, 30, 40 beers in, and well, it lost its flair. I think it was after Framboise. Like, no beer should taste like a wine. And I think once I tried that one, I was just kind of like over it. This is one that's kind of funny to me. The Mark III Tap Room, which is the local gay bar, but that is not where it's always been. It used to be down where the green light is, to the right on like the second building off the corner. So they moved locations, which probably is very good for the business and, well, the patrons, because that building is a hell of a lot bigger than the other building. I haven't seen this before. Made in Muncie pottery. That's cool. Yeah, so yeah, I guess as with anywhere, like, you know, you leave somewhere long enough and things are going to change. But that is Walnut Strip, the heart of downtown Muncie, Indiana. And most of the buildings, like I said, are the same buildings. They just have switched out the businesses or the business owners, you know, which is obviously going to happen no matter where you're at or what, you know, what kind of business you have. Things change with technology. the need for certain businesses, it's no longer there. And now we have needs for other things that we didn't have 20 years ago. So, you know, constantly evolving, constantly changing, and you got to keep up with that. And Muncie's no exception to the rule when it comes to that. Normandy Flower Shop. That is, I think that's, at least it's been there my entire cognitive memory. Pretty sure it's been there my entire life. But that's where I get my Mother's Day flowers, and for my mom and my sister, and well, now my niece. But that's really cool to see that that's still going strong, especially with COVID. You know what I mean? Like, COVID killed so many things that you just never would have thought, you know, would have any risk of not being around anymore. But, you know, like AMC Theaters, JCPenney, I believe Chuck E. Cheese, like, there's a lot of things that are going out now, and we'll never see them again. So, you know, it's truly tragic. But I wanted to take a moment to point this out. It's the Muncie, Indiana Horizon Convention Center. And I remember when it was built. I remember my high school prom being there. And the last time I actually had residency here in Muncie, I worked there. So it's a big part of my history, as well as the history of the city. Well, I'm going to head to the bus station now and get out of the cold. Oh wow, wait, just kidding. Here's one more. When I was growing up, this was the Star Press building, which honestly, that I can remember before that actually existed too, because there was, when I was really young, there was the Morning Star and the Evening Press. There was two different papers in the city of Muncie, and then I think I was in high school or middle school, high school, like they just determined that there wasn't enough news, or there wasn't enough patronage. People weren't buying the paper enough to warrant two papers, a morning edition and an evening edition. So they combined the two names together and called it the Evening Press, or the Star Press. And but once they combined the two papers together, the Star Press was printed out of this building. And now it is a Ivy Tech, I guess, classroom building. And I did know that, like, well, not necessarily that building, but I did know that Ivy Tech has actually taken over a lot of downtown. When I was here growing up and everything, Ivy Tech was actually out on the far side of town, like basically out of town. And now they pretty much moved their major programs and everything are like in the heart of downtown now. Like, we're coming up on a different, like, this building was not here the last time I was here, but now it's fully finished and opened, and that is another Ivy Tech building. So it's kind of cool, like, because, you know, Muncie's downtown is really historic, because, you know, most of the buildings have been here at least 80, 90 years. So, you know, to see, like, something like that, like, it just kind of pops, you know? It's fresh. It, like, lets you know that Muncie's not dead. That there is still life here, and there is still things, Muncie is still contributing to the history of the world. Yeah, so I'm going to head off now and get my feet and hands warm, and I will see you in the next clip when I make it to my mom's house, because I have not seen my mother since I've been back, and I'm going to interview her about her COVID experience. And, well, basically, I guess now it's kind of getting to the point where it's not really a COVID experience, it's 2020. What was your 2020? Did you have 2020 vision, or did you have 2020 disaster? But yes, when I get on the bus and get to my mother's, I will pick back up. See you later. So I'm on the bus, just about to get off the bus, to go to my mother's. So I will be there in just a couple of minutes. You know, buses look like they do in every other city, except in Muncie, Indiana, you gotta pay for buses. They're like, COVID and no COVID, we don't care. You're paying our money. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Ooh. So yeah, they don't have like the little plastic shower curtain hanging above or separating the front of the bus so that to protect the driver and and give everybody free fares. But other than that, the bus is the same here as it is anywhere else. I'm assuming this is my mother's trash can, so I'm gonna go ahead and wheel it up for her. Because the business, they usually get their trash can like as soon as the trash runs. My mom, she's always had a bit of a, I'll get it when I have to. But these, I mean, October's not so bad, but like, it's still, if you've never been in the Midwest or the northern states, October's cold. But in retrospect, October ain't shit compared to December, January, and February. Yep, it's my mother's. Set that there and go up the ramp to her front door, and hopefully she's not sleeping. I don't know. But if she is, she gonna wake up. It's me, Mother, your long lost son. Hi, Mom! Say hello to YouTube!
Yeah.
You ready to talk about COVID?
Nope.
Come on, Mom!
Tired and I look pitiful.
Okay. Well, out of respect for my mother, I'm going to give her time to pretty her face and get the sleep out of her eyes. And then we'll do the interview.